Manever I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, osia dem yopo.
You are once again welcome to PENDREAM TV, the only channel that brings you the best and latest updates in politics. If you are new here, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell for more updates. Like and also share to other members to watch as well. You can equally leave a comment at the comment section after watching, or send us a voice note on our WhatsApp number. It is 0277 128 777. Thank you. I want you to join me listening to what Solomon Owusu of the Butterfly movement has also come out to say, and it's very alarming, and which can cause fear and panic to the MPP or put MPP in trouble, as he promised a massive win for the Butterfly Party or the Alliance Party, and also let them know that the MPP is declining in terms of popularity in the Ashanti region. He also said a lot of things involving Owusu and Adom Ochere as well, which I would like you to join me listening to it into detail and also give your comments on that. Thank you.
The endorsement of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia by former President John Ajay Kufuor. And I start with Mr. Solomon Owusu. Good morning to you.
Good morning, my brother Senna, and I believe my sister is doing well. And good morning to your cherished viewers and listeners across the length and breadth of this world. Let me say that today the Movement for Change would also be organizing a concert that seeks to bring all the youth in the country, particularly in the Greater Accra, to the Lagos Mall to dance their heart out in expectation or anticipation of that victory that is ahead of us in the next 2 weeks. Artists from various corners of the country will be gracing the occasion. You can talk of medical, you can talk of Mamu, a lot of them. You know, we are the maturity type, but the young ones are going to be there to lighten up the stage. Let me also use this opportunity to thank all the Movement for Change supporters across the length and breadth of this country, the hard-working soldiers. I can tell you, Senator, that there are no determined souls in this country than the Movement for Change. We are so focused, and we want to do something to liberate this country from its downward trends. Senator, this morning I'm discussing this topic with a mixed feelings. One, because I am beginning to have a totally different understanding of how adults behave, and then whether or not we must take every adult as a very truthful person. And also, how do you balance your love for someone that you have taken him as a mentor since your childhood, with that person peddling an obvious untruth? That is what I'm confronted with this morning. But in all these, as the Commonwealth guys will say, truth stands. So I will not mince words. Who the cap fits will definitely wear it this morning. You see, let me also put it on record that former President Kufuor, John Ajay Kufuor, has never in his life, emphasis mine, openly endorsed Alan Chamanti anywhere, that in any contest he is behind Alan Chamanti. Let's put it on record. Let me also set the record straight that Mr. Alan Chamanti has never in his political career, anywhere, be it in church, be it on campaign platform, or even in private conversations, ever said that President Kufuor supports him. It has never happened. And so those that are trying to draw that wedge, draw those conclusions, they must have this at the back of their minds. So now what are we discussing? Last Sunday evening, former President Kufuor had an encounter with 4 media houses. I wouldn't even say houses. These are procured journalists. These are stomach journalists. These are unworthy journalists who work for the New Patriotic Party. Take it from me. If you go to the Ashanti region, these are the journalists that are leading the media plan of the New Patriotic Party. And I know each and every one of them perfectly. And I understand them. And I've been with the MPP, so I know how their psyche is. But unfortunately for them, one of them exposed them. One of the journalists that went to interview Kufuor was the one who gave them out. As to the monetary considerations, as to the problems that the party's campaign is facing in Ashanti region, for which reason there was the need to go and do what they did. Mind you, before that Sunday, Mr. Kufuor had endorsed Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia on 2 occasions. And that is why I started by telling you or laying the foundation that never in the life of Mr. Kufuor has he ever endorsed Mr. Alan Kyerematen. And never has Alan had any problems with him not endorsing him, Alan, nor openly endorsing another candidate. The first was the MPP's Bawumia's outdooring, which was to give us the bold solutions at the UPSA, where former President Kufuor emphatically stated that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia was a man of destiny. You remember that endorsement? When he did that, did you hear Alan speak? None of us, because we felt that it was a political platform, a partisan platform. And as we speak, former President Kufuor remains a member of the New Patriotic Party. And in fact, he is an advisor to the candidate. So if an advisor to an MPP candidate goes to endorse an MPP candidate, why must I have a problem with it? The second one was an arranged interview with Asempa FM, once again procured, where they forced the man to endorse Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia. There again, we felt this wasn't necessary until the last Sunday's one, because we know what they wanted to achieve with the last one. Mind you, Alhaji Bawumia had gone to Ashanti region, given the indication that he was going to spend 15 solid days to campaign in his own stronghold. The MPP has the Ashanti region as a stronghold. And never in the history of the political party MPP that I have ever seen a presidential candidate of that party even spent more than 7 days. So this was news to me, that your stronghold, that you don't need to be there. In fact, you need the other regions more than your stronghold, because whatever be the case, your stronghold will always and always vote for you. But this time around, the man says he's spending 15 days. So some of us said, hey, then they are beginning to feel the heat that is being mounted or chasing them by the movement for change. I have said time without number, if you remember, that Ashanti region is no more the stronghold of the MPP. Anytime I made this statement, people took it on the light note. But we have worked and worked tirelessly in the region, so we know whatever is happening there. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia had expended 13 days, and they realized that the amount of money that was going out and the feedback wasn't positive. So what do we do? Let us quickly come to Accra and then get former President Kufuor to put in a word so that it will at least sway some minds. And that was what they came there. The reason why we responded and asked questions was that about 4 hours to the program, there was a flyer going around that was saying that former President Kufuor speaks to the nation. So at that material time, some of us thought that there has been a plethora of issues in this country that he himself had not had the opportunity of addressing. You remember the Galamsey, where even churches, the Catholic Church had to embark on prayer demonstration. TUC nearly bad for last minute. Only God knows what happened. Was going to embark on demonstration. UTAC indeed carry out their threat, and so on and so forth. There has been an issue of haircut to our mothers and fathers, his contemporaries, that his own family member, Dr. Michael Ejekum, told us that because of the reckless nature of the management of this economy headed by Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, he could not, as an entrepreneur, an astute one, of course, a very accomplished one, of course, could not afford to buy 1,000 or pay for a book launch of 1,000 cities. And that 800 of his contemporaries were either having strokes or were dying because of the policy of the government. I was thinking, or some of us were thinking, that about 2 weeks ago, a mother gave birth to a newly born baby and sold the baby for 300 cities. And it grabbed the headlines of Ghanaian Times. So maybe the venerable politician, Mr. Kufuor, had seen that news and then wants to make an input. Beyond that, the general hardship in the economy. So we decided to give it an ear, only to see the journalist and Mr. Kufuor do a pure NPP politics. You say you are going to speak to the nation. We know the Akan language is very popular, but at least for now, our national lingua is what? English. So if you are speaking to the nation, and don't tell me President Kufuor does not understand English or speak English. On that occasion, he decided to speak Cree, just to appease the conscience of those in the Akan areas who have decided and blocked that they will vote massively for Mr. Alan Chemanti. He said of the 30 or 12 candidates, now it's 12 because of the demise of Ekweadonko, of the 12 candidates, per his deductions, his analysis, his evaluations, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is the most suitable person to lead this country from 2025 going. Now, to those NPP supporters that had a problem with it, I am taking my time to give you the foundation, and you appreciate Alan's position. Then you can begin to help former President Kufuor. Let me put on record that former President Kufuor, since last Sunday, lost his glorious opportunity to be the father of this nation, and that he has tainted his hard-won reputation with what he did. And as my candidate Alan said, it will be a blot on his legacy. The moment former President Kufuor settled or made that judgment that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is the most suitable candidate, Alan did not come in to insult him. And you can play Alan's tape whole day. And his critics, the few ones, of course, they are not in their many. They are not many, they are few. They should show me any paragraph in Alan's delivery where Alan insulted Mr. Kufuor. Alan only said, well, if you say Mr. A is better than Mr. B, give me the reasons why you are saying that, so that all of us will be on the same page. Is it something difficult or too much to ask? I come to this studio and said, you tell me that Suwini is better than me. I said, okay, give me the reason why he's better than me. Is that an insult? These are for small minds, those who are insulting Alan. The minds are so fickle. And even if it to take 100 years, some of us would demand that answer from Mr. Kufuor. Because, do you know that as we speak, we pay former President Kufuor every month with my tax? So whatever statement he makes, I can subject it to public scrutiny. And that will not be an insult, that will be a legitimate exercise. And former President Kufuor understands it. As we speak, he is not coming forth with any answers. So we take it that he only made that statement in vain. There is no iota of truth. That statement lacks legitimacy. And that Mahmoud Bawumia can never and will never be competent than Alan Chemanti. It's not even close. It's miles apart. And Mahmoud Bawumia himself knows it. MPP themselves knows it. So on what basis would former President Kufuor make that determination when he knows that at his age, what is expected of him is only the truth. Truth, nothing but the truth. You see, I started by telling you that This morning, I am in a fix, but truth will be told. If you are talking about a personality in the MPP that made me love the party, apart from my father, is former President Kufuor. Apart from my father, he's the one. I loved his demeanor and also the fact that in those days, truth was his mantra. He always believed that the truth must be spoken, no matter how unpalatable it was. So some of us learned from him. So I have said it on this platform that when I was in first year at KNUST in 1999, you know the 2000 election was a very crucial election. I voted the first round in Kumasi. The second round, before I could say Jack, I was in Awudu Isaka bus. You know the bus called Awudu Isaka? It used to be a no-plan bus, very popular. It was being run by GPRT. I was in the bus, not knowing where I was going, to be a polling agent until we got to war. Because I believed that former President Kufuor had to be the president of the land. When we got to war, they put it in some rickety cars and they sent it to Jirapa Lambusie. And Jirapa Lambusie, Jirapa was, I don't know whether it's still the capital of the Jirapa Lambusie district. When we go there, they took me to a village called Subayiri, a typical forest. And I was a polling agent for Mr. Kufuor. Now, I didn't know that when we were coming from the southern sector to the going to the northern sector, from the southern sector, you were called a Kabonga. So people started making that noise. Kabonga people have come. I was in the total wonderland. And guess what? Because we had gotten intel that teenagers, young ones, were voting. And indeed, I witnessed this for the first time. You will see a 3-year-old, 4-year-old boy coming. The mother is bringing the boy, and they will bring the exercise book. Now this is the voter card. The boy is coming to us. Are you okay? So we prevented all these young ones. But, you know, during the day in those areas, the man goes to farm. So it's the women who are rather in the house. We had prevented all the young ones, and we are calling the security to arrest these young boys and girls for committing electoral malpractice. Then their mothers crying went to the various farms to tell the husbands, now you people claim you are men. You are men, always you men. Go and see your children being taken out by some young men over there. Can you imagine the effect of that? So these men were coming from their farms with their cutlass, machete, everything. Because it was a wartime. And I remember myself and one Akrowi, who is in London, together with Professor Lord Mensa. You know Professor Lord Mensa? He has been speaking on radio. He was a typical NPP. I went to Sobai Jirapa with him. Because all of us were on KNH campus. Then we were surrounded, and it was about whether we die, whether we live or die, we live and die unto God. So what do? We started shouting, and people said they will kill us. Until Edward Salia, may he so rest in peace. He wasn't the MP for the area. He was the Minister for Roads and Highways. Came there, and we appealed to his conscience. That you know that elections cannot be handled this way. And that if he died, he must understand that he will not be passing the southern sector to also go to Accra without being killed. So we needed to negotiate, and that was how come I am sitting right here with you and discussing. If I had died in the year 2000, that would have been a stupid death. Because the person that I was fighting for, that I was ready to lay my life for, today is making a determination, judgment that is contrary to his own belief. Totally uncalled for. And when we demand that give us your foundation, those real fast in the MPP say what? Now let me come to those that have been making noise. You see, let me assure them that we are more focused than those that are making the noise. We are more so focused because we know we are winning Ashanti region. Come and tell us the foundation, former President Kufuor, then you send Wontumi to come and address us. Wontumi. Hey, no, we got to be serious. Wontumi says Alan is being sponsored, but Alan was asked by former President Kufuor former President Mahama to come and ask former President Kufuor. But I was even surprised that the NDC's candidate also accepted the statement. Because by being silent, you are in a contest with a candidate. You are being told that that candidate is competent than you. You will not rebuff or you will not question the judgment. And you will sit down. That will never be Alan's position. Because Alan knows and knows that I am competent than this man, and so I will not let it slide. How can John Mahama sponsor his NDC themselves? Have they been able to get the money needed resources to finance their own campaign? For him to get someone to come and sponsor us. And when we started our activities, where was the NDC to have helped this? So Wontumi was only doing political gymnastics. He doesn't know how to deal with this issue. But you see, the Wontumi that was making all those disparaging remarks about Alan Kyerematen, he himself was brought into the NPP by Alan. That is the most, the saddest part of it. In fact, Alan was the one that aided him to be a chairman. He used Alan's name to get position in the NPP. But it is all fine. Alan is no more in the NPP, so whatever they will say. And I will be charitable with Wontumi, because Wontumi really is only there because the party is no more attractive. No serious political party will have him as their regional chairman in a stronghold. That's their stronghold. What strategy is he bringing apart from insulting everyone? He doesn't have what it takes to lead. But anyway, the NPP is also on a decline mode. The party is only going into a direction that will ultimately become like the CPP. That is the direction that they have chosen, the path that they have chosen. So that is their own cup of tea. Now I hear another procured political entrepreneur, stomach journalist called Paul Adom. That guy, when I see him giving theatrics, I wonder the sort of people who engage him to do their bidding. Because his advocacy does not win even the heart of the wife. Even the wife, he has not been able to convince his wife that Alan Kyerematen has never shown any policy. And that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is more competent than Alan. Based on what he was run away. So he was sent to Zimbabwe to go and fix Zimbabwe economy. Let me tell Paul Adom, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia was chased out of Zimbabwe. He was chased out. Because he did not even have a clue as to how to run an economy. The Zimbabwean economy was deteriorating under his watch. So he had to run away. Now, he comes to tell us that Allah has no policy, forgetting that Allah was the first person to launch his great transformation plan. Well, you know, in this country, when Allah launches great transformation plan, in fact, he himself interviewed Allah on this platform. But because of no Kufuor, the small amount of money these wannabes will get from unserious characters, he found it necessary to go and sit on TV and attempted to impugn the integrity of Alan Kyerematen. Look, you cannot, Alan is so peerless that not these 2x4 people can say anything that will send him into the path or direction that they want us to go. It will not happen. It will never happen. And then you have this woman who calls herself Ediful, Usula, also attempting to run Alan down. That Alan is not what he claims is. And that Mahmoud Bawumia is more competent than Alan Kyerematen. And that was Alan before Kufuor appointed. Hey, Ezra, you had the mouth to say this? I'll be glad. Today I'll take my time to explain to them who Allah was before NPP came to power. And in fact, if they have any thanksgiving, they should give it to Allah. She is a minister today because Allah had to sacrifice his resources, energy at that young age in 1992 when the NPP was formed to be the young executive forum president or chairman, bankrolling this party, for this party to survive to date, for her to have a ministerial appointment for which she could cause Kenny GVG to come and sign a bogus agreement for her to get money and be talking rubbish. They got to be serious because Young is no more funny. In 1994, and here I'm talking to Ezra and that procured journalist, what's the name? Paul Adom. If you want to know the life of Mr. Alantemanti before NPP came to power, in 1994 he was working with the UN. In fact, he was in charge of the Enterprise Africa. And if he does not know what Enterprise Africa is, Enterprise Africa was a dedicated office that the UN created, that he was in charge of training entrepreneurs on the African continent. In the same 1994, when Nelson Mandela had come out of prison and was the president of South Africa, he was looking for 7 eminent people on the African continent to develop Enterprise South Africa, the whole of this country. Mandela couldn't get anybody. He got only Alan Chamanti to go and fix the mess in South Africa. In fact, in 1954, when they were looking for the 100 most influential personalities in this world, there was J. Kufuor, there was Nana Kufuor, there was Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Alan's name was there among the 100 most influential people in this world. He was there with Jeffrey Sachs, he was there with Condoleezza Rice, he was there with Bill Gates, he was there with, what's the name, F. Kennedy, and so on and so forth. Where were they when he was he? Where were they? But it has become cheap. The party became so cheap when Nana Kufuor took over the reins of the leadership of that party. And that is why they will say that. Now,
you have to wrap up for me.
In wrapping up, the same President Kufuor, in 1996, had to beg Mr. Alan Chamanti not to contest him for the position of the flag bearership. Because the MPP had realized that Gary John Rawlings won the 1992 elections purely based on his looks. They said he was so handsome, and I can tell you that was truthful. That we went to various villages, the people said, oh, the man is so handsome, why don't you vote for him? And so they needed another handsome man to come and negate Mr. Rawlings' handsomeness so that Ghanaians would rather look at their policies. And it was President Kufuor that went to see Mr. Apiang Mika and Donko Fojo to beg Alan for him so that Alan does not collapse his political career. Alan accepted and said, I will not contest you. So what has changed? And so in wrapping up, Senna, we are only waiting for former President Kufuor to give us his reasons for which he made that judgment or determination that Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia is qualified, is competent, is better than Alan Chamanti. And until that reason comes, all those making noise, we will only treat it as one of those things. I want to assure them that because of what they have done, we are going to double our efforts in Ashanti region, Eastern region, Central region, and we will win massively. No wonder they go on platforms and they start mentioning even their opponent, Mohammed's name, that when you vote for, did you hear or listen to Napo's tip? You are in Medina. You are urging your own party members to vote for Lomote and vote for John Mahama. I am telling you, NPP supporters, don't listen to Napo, that vote for Mahama and vote for Lomote. Vote for Alan and vote for Lomote. Bantima Samba, the Northern Regional Chairman of the NPP, also goes to campaign. He says, when you vote for the candidate, parliamentary candidate, and vote for Mahama, hey, to the people of Northern Region, my people, vote for Alan and vote for the parliamentary candidate. Wontumi also go on campaign platform and says, vote for Mahama and vote for, what's the name? The parliamentary candidate. Hey, to the people of Ashanti region, vote for Alan and vote for your parliamentary candidate. And Nana Kufuor himself says, Nana Mahama administration. This is pregnant with meanings. And in the coming days, we will see the length and tail of it. I end my submission here.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for staying with us. PENDREAM TV really appreciates your time once again on the channel. Please, as a new member, I urge you to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, turn it to all posts so that you'll be notified duly of any content that will land on the channel. Thank you.
PENDREAM TV now, so far so good. Say open online portal e Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.